Following portion of My Carolina is sponsored by
Planning a will is most often a complicated process, especially if your kids are involved. Estate planning lawyer and founder of Cary Estate Planning, Paul Jokubaitis, is back with top tips on the best way to go about this. Paul, welcome back.
That's right. Good to be back.
Okay, so let's first talk what not to do. What have you seen at Cary Estate Planning when it comes to selecting a kid?
There's so many options to choose from in that, but generally let's not name them on everything. Let's not say if we have many different children that they're all sharing in responsibilities and just we're hoping that they're going to act together and get along. We generally want to embrace reality. We really want to be very objective in how we're analyzing the strengths and weaknesses of our kids, and we're really looking at competency and capacity. And so we obviously want to choose a child that's not going to be bogged down by the moment. So if you passing away is going to totally crumble their ability to engage in this seriously, we probably don't want to pick them. And then capacity, like if they're a young parent with a ton of kids running around the house, it's probably not a good call to add this to their plate. And so we're always trying to be very objective with our truth, with our history of what we know our kids to be.
Yeah, live in reality. That's a good tip. Because if they're running around, they're already overwhelmed with their own little family, and they might not want that added stress. So would you say that the route to go is not just to say, okay, let's be fair and they all get something?
Yeah.
What would be the pro tip in divvying it up?
Yeah, I think equity should always carry the day, not necessarily equality. A very frequent instance these days is that the parents have given some money to one of the kids and not all of them, and so there's opportunities to kind of credit against that or make that whole in the back end. We call that a future advance. We obviously want to not be bound by just stereotypical rules. I have a lot of clients who feel inclined to go order of priority based on birth order, like we have to give the oldest all the responsibility just because they're the oldest, in some sort of misconception that people's feelings will be hurt based on not including them and where you think they should be included. But at the end of the day, estate planning is an exercise of creating a strategy that will accomplish a specific outcome. And most of the time, people want things to be easy. They want things to be smooth. And so we want to make sure that we're empowering a person that's actually going to receive that well, act in the role well, and that the people who we stand to benefit are going to be meaningfully benefited, not just everybody gets the same thing.
Yes. You really help streamline the process. You make it as easy as possible. So don't just do the oldest child, but really think their personality type, where they're at in life, what their career is. So let's talk about how you help your clients through the process. How do you always kind of give that peace of mind?
Yeah, so a lot of people conceptualize estate planning as like a document preparation exercise, and ultimately, if you just have some paperwork with your name on it and don't know how it works or how it's supposed to be used, it's just not going to work the way you want it to. It's kind of like buying a car that we don't know how to drive or doesn't work. We often refer to that as lemon estate planning, right? If you just create something, you have no idea how it works, and so
we don't want a lemon.
That's right, and putting the wrong people in these particular roles is part of that, and so ultimately, our representation is going to involve strategy and advice in terms of the actual practical day-to-day, how these roles, how these tools, how these assets flow, and really knocking dominoes down in different ways and seeing what the client actually wants to happen in those instances. And so sometimes it's embracing the reality that your kids may not survive you and trying to actually plan for that instead of being surprised by it. So we're kind of closing the logical loop of anything that could come down the pike.
Yeah, you simplify the process, you have such a strategic plan, and you help them through each step. How can everyone get more information about wills, probates, and so much more?
Yeah, the first step to becoming a client with Cary Estate Planning is just learning more about what we do and going to CaryEstatePlanning.com for that information.
I appreciate you as always. You're so knowledgeable.
Thank you.
the preceding was sponsored by